Hey guys, so today I'm here to finally wrap up the last 3 months of reading. It feels like it's been so long since I've actually done a wrap up because I wasn't reading, so I didn't feel the need to make a video to tell you about the 1 book I read in a month or the 2 books I read in a month. But because October was actually a pretty good reading month and I managed to read 6 books, I thought it was time to finally do a video and finally catch myself up. I'm very excited to get in some of the books that I have to talk about, and I have 9 books to talk about for the last 3 months, which is like really bad considering that this is over 3 months of reading, but most of it was done right at the end. But I'm just excited to get into it and talk about some of the books I read. So in August I only read 2 books, and the first one was The Millionaire and the Maid by Michelle Douglas. So this is my auntie's book and I read it for, I think it honestly was for the reading rush, but I didn't finish it in the time, and I managed to finish this on like the first day of August, and then from that point for 2 months I basically did no reading at all and only listened to audiobooks. But I did enjoy this to a degree. Like, I only gave it 3 stars because the characters were actually very kind of annoying, and the way Mac objectified Jo all the time and talking about how she was so tall and about the descriptions and some of the things he was doing, I was like, yuck. And so many of the things just made me kind of cringe with the way he was acting, but also the way she was acting, and it was just like, ugh. And obviously it was trying to like line up for the fact that they were gonna like kiss and fall in love and blah 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 blah. And I do know, like, I've got a lot more of my auntie's books to read, and some of them are gonna be misses and some of them are gonna be really good. I've had some 5-star reads from her as well, so it's just gonna be interesting when I finally do start to read more of her books. But I'm just glad that I finally read at least 1, because it's been a goal of mine for the past couple of years to read them, and I finally read 1. So the other book I read in August was The Tourist Attraction by Sarah Morgenthaler, and this was amazing. I highly recommend this. The second book has just come out on audio as well, and I'm so pumped. This book is set in Alaska, and the main character Zoe is like a tourist, and she's obsessed with Alaska. Like, she just wants to go so much, and she tags along with her friend Lana, and she's so pumped. And then Graham is the guy that lives there, and he owns this restaurant, and he lives in this little town, and he just hates tourists. He hates them so much with a passion. He hates what they do to his town. He hates just everything about everything. He's a very grumpy man, to be honest, but also has a rule that he's never going to date tourists. But then Zoe comes into his life and he kind of doesn't know what to do, and it's just so great. It's so cute. It's so amazing, and I love it so much, and I really want to go to Alaska now because of the vibe, the snow, the romance. Like, it's all very fun, but low-key would go there hoping that I'd find my own grumpy dude to like fall in love with, but that's not going to happen. But it's very good, and I just highly recommend it. And then September I listened to 1 book, and that was an audiobook. So I did no reading this month. This was the worst part of the reading slump because I did no reading whatsoever. And the book was The Love Square by Laura Jane Williams, and I only gave this one 3 stars because I kind of really didn't like it, but I really enjoyed Non-Stop, which is a book that she wrote last year. So I was excited to pick this one up on audio because I appreciated her other books. I thought I'd try this one. But the main thing with this is, like, the main character has always been hopeless in love, and she doesn't think she's ever going to find anyone, and then she finds a dude that she likes, and then she finds another dude that she likes, and then she finds another dude that she's like. So it's literally Love Square, and it was a cool concept, and reading the premise I thought this was going to be really good. But this book was a lot more serious than I thought, which is not a bad thing, but there wasn't a lot of laughs during it, so that kind of made it quite a lot boring. And all the dudes were kind of shitbags. Like, I really didn't like any of them. The first one could be really insulting when he was angry, and then the second one was kind of just like a playboy and he didn't really care about anything, and the other one was just not really suited to her. So it's kind of like and you kind of knew where it was gonna go. Like, it was so obvious who she was gonna end up with, and it just felt like there was all this unnecessary drama to keep the story going, and it was just long. Like, I just felt like it's a very long book, and it didn't need to be that long. And also our main character just was kind of boring. So I had a lot of feels about this, but I still only gave it 3 stars because there was some characters, like a lot of the side characters were really interesting, and I really liked the bond that she had with the sister. So like, there was good things but a lot of bad things. And then coming into October, where I did most of my reading, the first thing I finally finished was Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. It literally took me over 2 months to finally finish this book. It is a thick bitch. Like, there was a lot of pages. It's kind of understandable, but normally I feel like this would have only taken me like 2 weeks, but oh well, we got there in the end. I did actually really enjoy this. It was so much fun, and I did film a whole reading vlog if anyone wants to watch it, to have a more in-depth talk about my feelings for this book, because I talk about it a lot. It's like 40 minutes long, but I really appreciate it if you wanted to watch it. But this was just fun. I really prefer Edward's point of view over Bella's, because he just is a lot cooler and he makes Bella seem cool. In Twilight, Bella's so basic and annoying, and just everything's annoying, and just it's so good. And I love how much of the Cullen content we get. Jasper and Emmett were so good in this, and also Alice's obsession with Bella was great. Like, there's just so many great things about this. It was so much fun. And apparently Stephenie Meyer is going to be writing like 2 or 3 more books in the Twilight universe, and I don't think she's going to keep doing Edward's point of view, because I don't think any of us want to read New Moon in Edward's point of view, because he's just going to be depressed the whole time. But I think it's going to be really cool if we could get like a Renesmee and Jacob story, or maybe a story from the way in the past, before Bella was even like a thing ever. There are so many concepts that I think would be really cool, and that is something that I'm so excited for, because even though I'm over Twilight and over all this, I'm still going to be hyped every time a book comes out that involves Twilight, and I don't think that's ever going to stop. I'll also too, though, a lot of the books that I finished in October were ones that I started at least a month or 2 beforehand, but I tried to pick up a whole different heap of genres and just nothing was working for me. But I'm so glad I managed to finish like a few of them this month, which just made me so happy. So the next one I read was Not Like the Movies by Kerry Winfrey, and I loved this so much. I highly recommend this. You got to read Waiting for Tom Hanks first, which is still an okay book, but I just really didn't like the main character as much. With this book, it is basically just like workplace tension, and like obviously they've both had crushes on each other for a while, but they don't want to say anything, and then it's just like tension, you know, like the tension is the best. It just keeps building and building and building, and I just love it so much, and I just love the banter. Chloe has a lot on her plate, so she has a lot to deal with in her life, and Nick's always there for her, and it's just so cute. It's so cute, and I really don't even know what else to say, but basically there's a movie coming out about them, and it's just making them both feel very weird about things, and it's just so good. The next book I read was The Flat Chair by Beth O'Leary, so I'm glad I finally did finish this book, but I am sad to say that I kind of only found it very average. Like, I know a lot of people really enjoyed this one. One thing though is I couldn't get past the way Leon's chapters were formatted. It was just very weird, and I didn't like that I couldn't really understand what was going on, because you're reading it and it wasn't even like normal speech. It was just very weird, and Tiffany kind of annoyed me sometimes, but Leon also annoyed me, so they weren't the best characters. I liked them together, but like apart it was kind of really annoying. But the thing that really made me excited about this book is how many things were happening in the background, like the thing with his brother being imprisoned and trying to get him out, and then like having her friends being like barristers and psychiatrists, and then the things with her ex-boyfriend, seeing the journey for Tiffany as she kind of recovered from that. Like, there is things in this book that are really good, but I also thought I was gonna like it a lot more, and like the way that it's talked about how it's like they have to share a bed and they live in this flat, like I thought it was gonna be a bit different, but I don't know, it's just like, it just wasn't what I expected, but I am still glad I finally read it. So another audiobook I listened to was We Set the Dark on Fire by Taylor K. Magia. So this is part of me trying to read some more Latinx inspired novels, so this is the first one I listened to, and I still have 3 more saved on my list, which I'm excited for. But I'm sad to say that I didn't completely like this novel. I gave it 3 stars because the main character was so annoying, because she is just the dumbest spy ever. Like, she's meant to be this spy, but she's so selfish because all she cares about is her own shit. And like, literally there's so many times that I don't understand how she didn't get caught because she was being a dumbass, and it just really annoyed me. And I don't understand how they didn't kick her out of the rebellion because she was just so bad at this. But there was still some really good things about it. I really liked the idea of the rebellion and kind of the world as well, but it is like a young adult version of The Handmaid's Tale, because basically like back in the day there was like gods and stuff, and they did all this stuff, and they made it that men get to have 2 wives. It is a scary concept, but I also think it was done like really well in this book, and I did enjoy the world, and like the romance was really good as well, and that was very exciting, and I just had fun with this book, but just the main character was just so annoying. Next I read Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray, and this was really fun. I gave this 4 stars because it made me just obsess again about Star Wars. Like, I'm always obsessed about Star Wars, but it made me think about it for a lot longer, and I was so excited because I got to see Leia, and there was a lot of like cameos and things about Star Wars that kind of were like, oh, this is so good, these are like little details. And basically in this book, Leia's just turned 16 and she's going to become the princess, because she has to do all these tasks first before she can become the princess. So she has to like climb this mountain and do like peace offering journeys, and then she's also got to do some other things, and like she has all this stuff to do in like the span of a year, I think, and also she starts to realize that the rebellion is actually a thing and not just a myth, and it's just really good, and I think it really encapsulated Leia's character really well, and it was just really fun. And the last book I read in October was Sea Witch by Sarah Henning, so I managed to only finish this one. I actually have 2 more books that I thought I would have finished in October, but that's fine. I'm just gonna push it to November. It's all good, but I really did end up enjoying this one. I think it really kept to the Little Mermaid retelling story quite well, but there was still a lot of differences in it, and I really enjoyed it. And I liked Evie and Nick's friendship, and I liked Animeta's character, even though like Evie thinks that Animeta is a girl that drowned 4 years ago, but she can't really prove it, even though they look the same and act the same. The other chick doesn't know. And Animeta's like the Little Mermaid character because she's come to land to try and get the Prince Nick to fall in love with her, and it's all good. Like, it was a really fun story, and I'm just so glad I finally read it. Well, I can at least hold up all the physical books that I read in the past 3 months, because there was a lot of audiobooks happening, but also if I was reading at my normal speed, I would have read more audiobooks. I'm just glad that I'm finally able to start reading again. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's fun to finally do this. I feel like I almost could have forgotten the formatting on how to do a wrap up, but I remembered. It's all good. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!